sales manager here at Simpli.Fi. I'm down in Mobile, Alabama. Been with the company about 4 years, with the creation of this division to bring what we have to the small business owners and of all kinds. Listen at all the types of businesses on this call. We have worked with and do continue. I personally have and continue to work with all types of businesses that have been mentioned here, of every vertical. So this is for every type of business as we go through this. Just know it's for all of y'all. So very appreciate y'all's time and very happy to talk about CTV and digital out of home, what we can do
All
for
right,
y'all here in a minute.
great. We'll get back to you in a minute. Now over to Shannon to get us started here.
Hi, everyone. Shannon Roberts. I'm the sales director for the DC and Baltimore region for Simpli.Fi. I've been in the media business here in DC and Baltimore for over 20 years. I was 10 when I started. Um, and I've been with Simpli.Fi since February. So really excited to introduce you guys to Simpli.Fi and hopefully be able to work with you in the future.
All right. So, and also we have Amy and Brooke. So I don't know, you guys, they are the chamber that makes things go.
Hey guys,
Um,
Amy Berry here. Some
and
of the new
Brooke.
faces. If you have questions about membership, holler at me.
So, all right. Well, let me turn it over. I don't know who's going to go first, Brian or Shannon,
Yeah.
but the
Yes,
the
sir.
floor is yours.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. If anybody has any questions while we're doing this, by all means, please put them in the chat there. If you're driving, don't need to. You can just speak up and I'll stop. But yeah, just put your questions in the chat while we're going through here. The agenda for today is just if for those that want to have a conversation, beyond this with Shannon, I just want you to understand how we approach business and how we're going to talk about your strategy. So we're going to just briefly talk about our full funnel approach. Talk about reach. Just the most important thing that we really want to focus on here is just the ability to reach more people. And then also TV fragmentation. I'm going to really talk about, a lot of you may have bought traditional TV in the past, broadcast, cable, that sort of thing. Talk about just TV, the fragmentation of what it used to be and what it is now. But then also the connected TV accessibility that we have here, which will include YouTube TV via Digital and Video 360, so DV 360 via Google. Our digital out of home capabilities. I know that the DC Baltimore area is a pretty billboard heavy town, out of home town. So what we can do here is really interesting with our placement with digital out of home. So I'm going to talk through that. And then that geo-fencing and keyword search. I'll briefly touch on that as we talk, but this is another capability that we have that really is able to target those in the funnel in a lower funnel capacity. And then I'll have an appendix at the end that I can send out later to everybody. So again, the funnel that we work through here really is these four phases of the funnel. So when we're having conversations with you, we really want to talk about the gap of where you think your strategy is here. Where's the gap? Where are we not reaching your consumers? And then also, as we discuss strategy, where do our tactics fit? Where does our targeting fit, right? Based on your customers buying cycles, where they go, where, how, like what their journey is to find you, and can we fill that gap and find, these users, put your brand in front of them as they're moving through their buying journey here. So these will just be some things that, like I said, if you have a conversation beyond this with Shannon, this is really what we'll all be discussing. And again, where our capabilities fit. So I do want to just, again, briefly touch on broadcast TV or cable, like pain points. Again, if anybody's ever purchased TV in the past, or know somebody that has, you probably understand these pain points, and what we do here is, solves all these pain points. Broadcast TV can be fairly expensive, including production, to just be on television. We have some very cost-effective methods of creating or recreating video, reusing video, whether that's from your website or B-roll footage, or taking something from your social media and recreating that to become a television commercial. Lots of ways that we can recreate a video. Like I said, that's not too expensive. Another pain point: lack of audience targeting. Usually you could do your age, your male, female, maybe some household income, or buy cable, or buy shows that lean heavier toward that demographic. Our audience targeting is far more in depth. we can, find people that have a dog, have a cat, have how old their house is, how big is their, how many garages do they have, what's, and then those who are in a purchase phase, want to buy a house, or buy a vehicle, things like that. So a lot of intent based, but also just extremely granular targeting if you have a niche audience, or if you have multiple audiences. I believe the cosmetics company, I'm sure you have lots of audiences that you could deliver against depending on your product. So just the ability to put your product in front of the right audience. And then if you want complete local coverage, right, you have to buy all stations. So your Fox, your CBS, your NBC affiliate, all of that. You have to buy all those local stations to have that market coverage. So you got to have 3-4 contracts. And then there's also no attribution, right? There's no attribution online or offline, being able to tell somebody saw a TV commercial and walk into your brick and mortar store, or being able to tell somebody saw a commercial on one of these stations and went to your website. And then another pain point is just, again, broad DMA targeting, right? So if you're buying all those local stations, you're targeting the whole DMA. Maybe your clients don't travel that far, right? Maybe you're so that's the case, and you're overreaching on your service area, then you're just going to waste impressions. Right. So the ability to target via zip codes versus just broad DMA targeting, we have the capability to do DMA targeting or state or national level, but for most small businesses, that type of coverage is just not needed. Therefore, you're just always wasting impressions if you don't need to go that far. And then lastly, you really can't talk to the same audience via broadcast, traditional broadcast or cable. You can't say, send a message to somebody like a display ad or another video message that saw your that saw your television ad. So no way to really optimize and talk to your audience via multiple media delivery methods like display and TV and that sort of thing.
Just real quick, Brian, somebody had a question. DMA.
Yeah, designated marketing area. Great question. So every single, forgive me, let me get this out the way. Every single, so Baltimore is its own DMA. Washington, Hagerstown is its own DMA. Where I live, Mobile flows into Fort Walton Beach and Pensacola, Florida. So DMA is as a designated marketing area. There's 210 in the U.S. and it's what broadcast, radio, TV, everybody works off of a standard DMA. So that's what a DMA means. So let's say if you're buying television, right, and you're buying in your Baltimore, you're buying all of Baltimore, and it spreads. How far does it spread, Shannon? If you're what about 80, 90 miles?
Yeah, Baltimore, and it's tough because this is the Anne Arundel County, and so Anne Arundel County is technically in the Baltimore DMA, but we are right on the cusp of the Washington DMA. And I don't know about you guys, but I get Washington stations and Baltimore stations. So, being in Annapolis has its own constraints or problems, as you would say. So it goes all the way up to almost Pennsylvania, to answer the question.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's pretty big.
Yeah. So if your clients don't come from that far, right? If you've got a 60, 70 mile radius of where you deliver against and your clients only travel 10 miles, well, that's a lot of wasted impressions. We have the ability to control that targeting to what the where your clients actually are. Yeah, great question. Any questions on this? Any feedback from anybody? All right, all good. So again, this conversation is really going to be focused on connected TV and digital out of home. So I'm going to spend the most time on those two things, and I'll touch on geofencing and keyword kind of as we go through this. But just know, with our inventory, we have access to pretty much everything. You're looking at sports, news, entertainment. Again, all of these content focused content focused publishers and stations. And also access to local TV, right? Local, Nexstar owned and operated, or some of these other broadcast companies, they're owned and operated. So you're really getting a good mix of those who have cut the cord, right? We're talking people who have cut the cord. They're no longer watching your traditional broadcast. They're not really watching your cable, set top box. And I probably should put the slide in here, but we are well beyond the tipping point, y'all. So meaning those who have traditionally watched broadcast, half the country now, we're about 46%, I believe, now watch broadcast, or still have access to broadcast or cable, versus the other half of the country. And again, increasingly so, has moved to streaming. So, my daughter, is a cord never, meaning She will never buy a cable subscription. She will never have, broadcast, bunny ears, those of us old enough to remember bunny ears, right? All these things. She'll never do that. She'll never go through that. She'll never turn into your 5 o'clock, tune into your 5 o'clock news, on your, CBS station, like that sort of traditional viewing habit. It's not where the world is right now. It's really more about those who are streaming and watching content whenever they have the time. If anybody here, I was the softball dad for, well, still am, I guess, for 17 years. Daughter's in college now. If you're in sports, you're a parent at all, you watch TV when you got the time. It is no longer everybody tunes into the live shows or tunes into the 8 o'clock news or whatever that looks like. It's really when you have the time. And we have access to all of these stations and all these networks and publishers to then be able to deliver against that audience, your audience, whenever they're watching television, wherever they're watching it, meaning what streaming station they're watching it on. So just true access, and you can also customize who you want to deliver against from an audience perspective, but you can also customize who you want to deliver against from an inventory perspective, meaning these types of publishers. So any questions here? All right. But then again, let's talk about fragmentation and say, hey, what does that mean, right? When you talk about fragmentation, what does that mean? So if we're delivering, so let's say, does anybody here, or if you can in the chat, do me a favor, put the 1, 2, or 3 streaming apps that you watch. If you're a Hulu person, Disney, Fubo, Pluto, YouTube TV, just put in, and it could be 2 or 3, right? The average household has 4 to 6. Or watches 4 to 6. So just put that in there, right? If you don't mind, and I'll just take Netflix, Prime, Netflix, right. So subscription-based stuff. Yeah, so you've got a lot of subscription-based. I'm a big YouTube TV guy. Again, I pay for that, right? So these are subscription-based. But also pay for. I think we have Hulu, and I've got Netflix. So my wife we have all that, I guess, whatever she buys. But fragmented, right? You're watching. You've got to get. Especially, I'm a big football guy. If I want to watch football, I've got to, this coming season, I've got to watch or have access to 3 different subscriptions to watch the Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday, Monday night, all those games. I'm very fragmented TV right now. And again, that goes back to pain points of traditional. If you want to buy through Paramount, so if you want to have let's say if you want to buy now in a streaming space, a football audience, you've got to buy Paramount, right? You've got to buy CBS, you got to buy NFL Network, you got to buy ESPN Plus. You got to buy Primes. They got Friday night games. You got to buy NBC Universal because they got Thursday night games. And then you got, so then you got to buy Fox over here. I'm a Saints fan. They're on Fox all the time, so I've got to have Fox. So again, you would have to have all, and buy into all these different platforms to be able to reach a sports audience, right? Whereas with us, we can do that without you having to buy minimums across all of these and still reach a sports audience. And do it at a very affordable, cost affordable rate there. Sorry, did I hear a question? I heard a microphone come on. No, all good. Okay, great. So again, just fragmentation, right? The where we are is fragmented. TV is everywhere. There's dozens and dozens of apps. Every TV you guys have has apps built into it, and then apps you can download depending on what you currently watch. So just very fragmented, but we bring that in. We really have the ability to deliver against all of these without really having to pick and choose. So we define your audience, and then wherever they go, we deliver against that audience wherever they go. We don't have to pick and choose anymore, right? You don't have to buy this station or that station. We go where they go, and that's the benefit of coming to us here. Don't have to guess anymore because it's really just wherever the audience goes because they just have so many choices these days. Are there any questions from the chat? No? Okay, all good. All right. So just give me a thumbs up, Shannon. When I do a temperature check, we're good. Appreciate you. But then now that being said, we do still have that for anybody that does want to buy Baltimore Ravens games. If you do want to buy something like that, you want to get in a Ravens game or Orioles game or something like that, be in live sports or be in a season finale or just these very specific placements, we still have the ability to do that through what's called programmatic guaranteed here. We can also be on linear TV, so we can also be on like Dish Network or Dish Connected or some of these other still linear providers. They're still really they still have internet connected box tops to deliver on that live TV and that linear TV. So we truly have access to all TV. I want you to everybody that listens to this and when you leave here, it may be called connected TV, but everything's connected these days. It's just TV, right? If you're, you can watch your local news station on apps like News On, which is an aggregate, which just aggregates and collects all the local news, and it's an on-demand service, and you can just watch your local news, for that day whenever you get home and have the time, and are just delivered ads, like you would normally, but it's on there on the digital side, right? So everything is accessible now digitally. Every TV is connected. Every TV is a smart TV. You can't buy, the TVs, tube TVs, and all that. You just can't buy that anymore. So everything's connected. Everybody here has access to all streaming networks all the time. But again, we still do have access to any specific request that you have. There just may be different minimums and different prices, you can imagine. So, any questions on any of that? I know I'm moving pretty quick here, but I usually go over, so I'm trying to move a little quick here, and leave time for questions at the end here. But just what I want you to come away from with that conversation is that you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars across all these broadcast companies to have market coverage. You can have coverage in your backyard, own your backyard, or own the market. You can do either one of those, but you have the choice here to do either of those at again a very cost affordable. We're talking about, and you probably want to talk prices. We work all the CPM base here. So you could be, we have options that range starting at $12 CPM for a TV. Streaming, just kind of all streaming, open network as we call it, just all the streaming stations in that area that we can reach. But then you can move up to a sports audience for $20 CPM. We can get into Hulu for $40 to $60, and have a mix there. So I'm still not again, if those who priced out TV in the past, still a lot of very affordable options here. That again, Shannon can discuss with you beyond this call and get more pricing.
Can we talk a little bit about how Simpli.Fi builds an audience for a customer?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how the audience, because personally I've come from a lot of different media places and worked with a lot of different companies in the past. And what I really love about Simpli.Fi is how they build an audience for you. So you're not just guessing, you don't have to buy NBC, ABC, and Hulu. We're going to build an audience for you, and we're going to find that audience for you wherever they are on the internet. And that's what I really like about Simpli.Fi, is that you don't have to guess where they're going to be, because I may be a sports football fan and love sports, but I may also be watching the Food Network.
Shannon, I literally just typed that question in the chat. Chat is how. I'm curious if you can explain how Simpli.Fi, the audience that you build for us, how you know where they are for your to reach for your customers.
Yep, great question, and it's awesome how Simpli.Fi does that. And I wanted to kind of give you guys a little information about how we do that.
I'm going to go back. Yeah, I got you. I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go back a little bit. So let's say, hey, Joe, with the boat company, correct? Can you just give me an idea of your ideal audience? It could be age, could be income, could be, whatever that looks like to you. How do people find you? What do they look like? If you could give me any insight there, I could put a little context to it.
Sure. So demographic for our audience is generally financially independent, mostly retired, early retirees.
Early retirees, empty nesters, probably have a decent net worth, probably have a certain income level, or both. If you're retired, I typically pick net worth versus income, because once you're retired, you don't really have that income. But either way, so early retired, probably empty nesters, high income. We talking about what's your average boat price?
Average boat prices, average is about $5 million.
Okay, so we're talking about ultra. Okay, so we're talking about ultra net, like ultra high worth. We're talking about the five percenters, something like that.
Yep.
Probably have a net worth of probably between 10 and 20 million. Yeah. Okay. Great. So okay. For some of y'all, might not have as finite of an audience, and that's fine, right? So there's a variety of ways we could do this. Let's just say we're building an audience to target at the household level. So something we have here is addressable geo-fencing. You can probably see that down here. addressable geofencing for us just means targeting at the household level versus whether that's an audience we curate or an audience that you have or have purchased. Meaning, like, Joe, have you ever delivered like direct mail? You ever bought like a direct mail list for this audience at all? No, that's okay. Just so again, first party data could be, data you purchased and maybe third party, but it's in your hands now, or it could be a CRM list. If you ever have it, like Joe, if you have a CRM list of anybody you've ever delivered, that sold you a boat, I can take that CRM list and create a lookalike audience.
So let's not guess about it. I'll tell you exactly how we do it. So we have a way to capture the folks that visit us either at shows. We participate in many boat shows in the U.S. and then people who visit our website, both the website in the Americas or people who visit the corporate website. We capture that and then we mark it out to those people directly. So our CRM database of folks who have expressed an interest in receiving information on our product is pretty broad. It's also pretty qualified.
Yeah.
So we have that information. Now we're just looking for other ways to connect with those people.
Beautiful, love it. All right, so if I were to build a plan kind of off the cuff here, so one, so the ways we build audiences with our addressable audience curation here at the top, we build that on. We have about 3,000 options there. So that could be, and this is to answer Brooke's question, how do we do that? Man, I'm going to get in the weeds here, y'all. So follow me if you can. We have geofenced every home based on the courthouse records. Like, what's the true latitude and longitude of the house? Geofenced every house in the country. And continue to update that. And then from there, we are able to identify every single device in the house and what's connected to that household. And then that's the way you don't get the same ad as your neighbor. This is the way you all get different ads, right? I normally, if you were all to go to like ESPN or, Fox or CNN and just a major website we all know, if we all looked at that website and the first ad that came up, 9 times out of 10, we would get a different ad because we're different people that do different things, go different places. So I would build, so I would curate an audience at the household level, Joe, with the demographics that make the most sense: retired, with a high net worth, or high income, or both, and see how close we can get there. And this is data that we have data partners, major financial partners, a lot of data partners that all they do is collect data, and then we aggregate that data, and then deliver against that audience, and that is updated monthly or quarterly depending on the partner. So very fresh compared to third-party segments or some other curated audiences or segmented audiences that you may have bought in the past. Those, we never know how old those are, but with this data, we do know how old it is. And it's again very up to date there. So that's one way we would build an audience, deliver at the household level for Joe. And all right, so these, this net worth, these retirees, and this geography, we want to deliver whatever media we have to them: display ads, on their phone, laptops, or video on their TV. So that's more of a top funnel, right? So that's a top funnel there, Joe. So that's where we, in that branding piece, then go to trade shows, right? We do this all the time, geofencing. So geofencing has a lot of different uses here. We can geofence events like trade shows, capture those devices, follow them around for 30 days, and then deliver to them and hope that they get to your website. And then from there, we have site retargeting here. Oh, whoops, excuse me. So then we have site retargeting. So then we're moving them down the funnel, right? So what are we doing? We're starting here. We're delivering to that ultra high net worth. Then we're geofencing events for those that have come to these events, and then we're retargeting them with site retargeting, and then again, if we're doing that CRM list that Joe has, we can retarget those customers. They want to buy new boat, trade in a boat, or whatever, or just send whatever message you want to send to them as a loyalty message, and then can just move back up and start that funnel all over again. So that's a way that we would just quickly for him, like, just build more of a full funnel approach based on where his audience is, what they're currently doing, and how can we amplify his efforts. Brooke, did that answer your question?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute
Okay.
and can't do it quickly. Yes, it did, and it's fascinating. So thank you.
My pleasure. Do you have does anybody have another question about how we build audiences? Again, I'm not
Just a comment. I mean, it's fascinating, and it answers the question. I'd be interested to know more details as we go through on how that happens, or maybe that's a different conversation. But that is what you just defined or described is what we're trying to do as a company, or refine as a company. I think the tools we have today get us to a certain level, but we are searching for something that helps us qualify our funnel and direct our funnel in a more concise manner. So maybe this is a path to go down. So that was very helpful. Thanks, Brian.
My pleasure. Yeah, for everybody, again, Shannon's, this will be sent out. It's recorded. Her contact's at the front of this presentation. So anybody seeing this, please send an email. We'll to put together a recommendation or a media plan, and she'd be happy to take you out to lunch as well if you'd like to do that. Just talk deeper. Any questions before I move into the digital out of home piece? Any other questions on targeting or CTV, TV, that space?
Are the streaming platforms also doing all that data and research, or they don't care? They're just getting advertisers' money and.
Well, it depends. It depends. So most streaming services are they're just just delivering ads, right? They're delivering ads or taking money, but they just have what we call supply, right? You're the demand, they have the supply. They're just being a supply side partner. Others, again, which you have to pay a lot of money into, if you're we're talking about Fortune 500, Fortune 100 advertisers, right?
Yeah.
Like with Walmart. If anybody has any products distributed in Walmart, you have to pay a lot of money to get access to their data for you to use, so yes and no. They do take this data. So like we have access to audiences. Like Peacock has what's called PAX, so it's Peacock Audience Extension, and Disney has audience extensions. So then we can access that data and deliver against their curated audiences. Sports audience, lifestyle audience, food audience, etc., based on people that watch their services. But there's also other services like if I can target anybody that's watched the Love Island finale on Sunday or whenever it was. Anybody in Baltimore that watched that show on Sunday, I have that audience and I can retarget them however you want. So there are people collecting and selling data. Every TV has what's called an ACR, an automated content recognition chip, which means every piece of data that can flow through a TV, like what network, what publisher, what time, what station, what commercial, et cetera. Like all the data that can come from just you watching, TV that you don't know, is passed back and aggregated to people like us. Yeah. So
Interesting.
So some are yeah.
Sorry. They also have a chip in your cell phone.
Yeah. They have chips everywhere.
They have chip in the cell phone, everything is smart. We've got smart everything, and they're only smart because they have a chip in them. So
and that's where we get to attribution, right, guys? So that's back to the attribution piece and showing the ROI, or just showing, attribution is being able to show. So since we have device, IDs and everything, that's where I can deliver a TV ad, and see if they showed up in your brick and mortar location, things like that, right? Yeah. That's based on ACR data, our ability to graph your phone to your house and your IP and your Wi-Fi and your TV. And then if that device shows up in your brick and mortar, pings the GPS, I can count that as a conversion from a TV commercial, which is not possible in past lives. Yeah. In past buying. So very fun, very interesting. For some, very scary, but believe me, we are compliant over here, I promise. I will tell you, if Shannon says we can't do something, it's usually illegal, not because I can't do it. So but we have a lot of great capabilities and a lot of great reporting and data attribution to back it all up. So any questions here before I move into out of home? No, forgive me. I do want to just touch on YouTube TV again real quick. Again, YouTube TV, I'm a big YouTube TV fan. For those who may have a higher, maybe a higher income audience, right? Your demographic, you're more of the affluent audience. I think YouTube TV solves a lot of different audience kind of questions there, and brand safety and brand alignment, meaning YouTube TV has, it's just high quality networks that we all know and love. Again, I'm a big fan. I watch a lot of sports there, so you can still watch live sports and deliver against a live sports audience, and without having to buy the live sports, spots that can cost thousands of dollars a spot, right? So, just big fan of YouTube TV, and again, brand safe. So if you're worried about that, you can definitely be, just know that you're safe here in that regard. I work a lot of financial institutions and also universities that brand safety is schools, a lot of schools, and that brand safety is very important to them. So just an example, you can see reporting of device delivery, and then what does reporting look like? So you're being on your AMC and Animal Planet, CNN, ESPN, Fox, just Golf Network, HGTV, right? So just high quality networks that I'm sure everybody on this channel already, or everybody on this call already watches in some capacity. So just a great option here, and not a lot of people have the ability to deliver on YouTube TV, so it is something that is somewhat unique to us. There's very few partners that have the ability to deliver ads on YouTube TV, so we are one of those select partners.
Can you tell me what impressions, what does it really mean? I'm not quite sure what impressions mean.
Yeah, so it can mean a lot of different things, but really it's just an ad delivered to you. So whether that's, and this same thing with digital out of home, is an impression. Just an ad was delivered where you wanted us to deliver it. Meaning, if you wanted us to deliver an ad, on YouTube or on to an audience on their phone or laptop or desktop, an impression is just an ad delivered. And then our pricing model is based off of CPM, which means cost per milli, but that's cost per thousand, meaning it's a cost per thousand impressions delivered. So our pricing is, so we're doing display pricing. We're talking about $6 display CPM. So for every 1,000 impressions we deliver, it's $6 CPM. So, for example, yeah. So just an impression. So a TV commercial.
Yep.
A TV commercial is an impression. If you go to check the news or the weather in the morning on the Weather Channel and you see an ad, that is an impression. If you check ESPN to watch sports, that I fell asleep last night watching basketball. Check who won this morning. Got an ad. That's an impression. So that's all that means. Good question there. Do you have any questions in the chat? Okay. All right. So digital out of home. How are we looking? Okay. I'll try to wrap this up pretty quickly. Digital out of home again. Great. Man, incredible placement here. Just so you know, what does digital out of home mean? It can mean a lot of things and a lot of screens. We're going to go through that, but just know that 98% of consumers in the US have been in a venue that has a digital out of home screen for us to deliver against, meaning all of you this week will go into somewhere that I could potentially deliver an ad against. And that could, think of all the places you go, right? Like think of all the places you go could be going to the movie theaters, going to a restaurant, going to your credit union or your bank, just going to an office building, right? Going into the doctor's office or the dentist office or a gas station. Anybody ever filled up their car and an ad starts, while you're sitting there filling your car up? That's gas station TV, right? And it's funny. I did put that. Just know I did put this digital out of home in the top funnel branding and awareness at the beginning here. But depending on your product, like let's say if you sell candy that's in a gas station and that's delivered, on the gas, that's a bottom funnel tactic, right? You're at the point of purchase, right? So it just depends on what you sell and what you're doing there, as to where it fits in the funnel. But I think it truly can fit in just about every stage of the funnel. And so for Shannon can pull, if anybody wants to see any availability in in the market there of where we have, what screens we have available. That's an easy ask. If anybody's interested in this, just reach out to Shannon. But yeah, we're all over the place, and you have precision. You can pick where you want to be. You don't have to be on all of these screens. You can pick where you want to be, what makes the most sense, for your product there, right? And so a lot of control there, a lot of options. Oh, and also have the ability to deliver against your standard big digital, your Lamar, your Outfront, your Clear Channel, those types of large digital boards. So you still have the ability to deliver against those. So being on a highway or an interstate or something like that, that is still an option. And then, but for large boards, just know you can't do some of these. You can't do video, right? Video on a digital billboard is still illegal. But for gas stations or airports or again other places, right? You have options for video from 8 to 30 seconds, which is great. There's plenty of time to get your message out there. Or it could be static or animated. So you can run different media types, with digital out of home as well. If video is better suited for your business and you have a message to get out there, then let's just focus on running video, right? If it's more just a branding and awareness and you want, digital out of home is great for brand recognition, right? That's about this last slide. 82% of adults remember seeing an ad, an out of home ad, after seeing it, meaning like they recognize the brand after seeing it, on a billboard or just out of the house, right? So just really great brand recall, right? So meaning, you see a billboard, see a TV commercial, TV and billboards that have the same brand recall. I think brand trust kind of factor when you're seeing that. You see the commercial, you see a billboard, and then let's say you get an ad on your phone or something later, you recognize that brand more now that you've seen it in a billboard or on TV. So just brand recognition, brand recall just really helps reinforce and I think just add more value to those other kind of methods of delivery we're doing, like I said, display or online video or audio or whatever, if we're doing podcasts or whatever that request is. It just really, like I said, that brand recall and brand trust, I think, is a little bit higher between digital out of home and CTV. So again, being able to be delivered on traditional digital boards, being, out of home, being in the mall or an airport or something like that, gas station TV, like we already talked about, and then also being in a large event. So Joe, let's say you're at an event, right? And we want to see if you're in a convention center, hey, are there any screens in this convention center that I can buy during this event for these 3 days? And just again, so we're hitting them while they're there, digitally on a billboard, then we're hitting them when they leave, and we're hitting them if they go to your website, right? So just when we talk about omni-channel, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. You can't really get away from me. When people talk omni-channel, omni-screen, we're that. Like, you can't get away from us, right? If you run a full funnel omni-channel campaign, you can't get away from us. This just adds to that, right? So and again, a lot of benefits here. I won't read all these. I know we're toward our time, but a lot of benefits for digital out of home. But most importantly, reach, right? We're just this conversation started with reach, reaching your audience, but just in the places that they go. So just expanding your reach, and that's reach and frequency are two things we talk about here, and they very much go hand in hand. So it's something always if you talk to Shannon, post campaign, we're doing looking at reports and looking at campaign progress. We talk about reach and frequency. They're very, very important. And that's what we want to focus on, both of those to drive conversions. This is kind of an appendix here for y'all, for those. I've talked about a lot of things. What does it really mean? Where does it fit? What could I use from media type? So just again, something for you and Shannon to look at and talk about when we're discussing things. Kind of give you again, just a little appendix here for you guys, so that you understand all the things I've thrown out here. There's some other acronyms in here that the Shannon can go over as well, but yeah, that's just something for y'all to keep. And then also, again, same thing, where they fit in the funnel, what is it, just to get a better idea of what we're going to be talking, what you and Shannon be talking about, post this call. Okay, I believe I think I am done here. What are our let me see. Yeah, I'm done. So wrapped up. I got about 10 minutes. Great. About 10 minutes left for questions. And I can go back to anything in the presentation. But yeah, let me know what questions y'all have. Or is it in the chat here?
I don't see any in there, but I have one. Do you guys do this for music streaming platforms as well, like your Amazon Music or
Okay,
Pandora, the ones that you don't pay for that you hear ads on?
Great question. So we have access to Spotify. We have access to Pandora and SoundCloud as a combination. We do not have access to Amazon or Apple. Apple doesn't really have ads there. It's all subscription based, and Amazon owns their own platform, like demand side platform. We talked about data earlier. Mm-hmm. Amazon Prime they own, right? Amazon Music they own. So they really control that for their advertisers. They don't let people in. They're big enough they can pick and choose their clients, and that's what they do. But we have access, Pandora, SoundCloud, and Spotify. And then, hey, we're not. That is one. Those are the streaming platforms we know, but we have access to all. Like, if you're looking like iHeart, tune in. Shannon can speak to audio better than I can. That's her world. But yes, we have access to what you talked about, but we also have access to all the streaming, stations that are like all your radio, but in that digital space. So we have massive audio inventory. Yes. Carol, I saw you raise your hand. What was your question?
Yeah,
ma'am?
I have two questions. The first one is, how do you retarget people who have visited your ad? How do you retarget them?
People. How do we retarget people that visited or that saw your ad or like visited your website?
Well, it's left out a word there. On your it says retarget people who have visited your, and you left off one of the words. I've been an editor for 50 years, and please fix that before you do your next presentation, because you left out a word. So what does that mean by retarget people who have visited your
website? Forgive me, I don't know where that is.
Your website or your ad? It's the fourth one from the bottom.
Okay.
Targeting.
Okay, yeah. Oh, visit. Oh, yeah. Forgive me. Yeah. Visit your website. Forgive me. Yeah. Visit your website. So people that visit your website, we provide a pixel for you to place on your website, and then we retarget them with whatever kind of ads that we have decided that we're going to go to market with, whether it's a display ad or a video or TV. Just anybody seeing your website. Again, we provide a pixel for you based on what kind of website you have or what kind of tracking that you want to use. And then we retarget them again, like I said, with whatever we have. Same thing if you've done any Facebook or Meta retargeting, they give you a pixel, it's a retargeting pixel to place. Kind of same thing there.
So I like to tell people that have you ever gone to like Rack Room Shoes and picked out a really cute pair of shoes and said, "Oh, I really like those, but I'm going to keep looking." And then the next day you open up your computer and that pair of shoes is staring at you, going, "Hey, you forgot something?" That's
Uh,
site targeting, and that's us. That's what we do for site retargeting.
okay, my second question is, do you use AI to determine what are the best target audiences for your product or your service?
Um, we can. We use AI for some recommendations here, but I mean, we can to a degree. Yeah. I mean, but I think most of us here usually know who their audience is or have a pretty good idea. But if we don't, then that's also something we can discuss. If you really don't know who your audience is, then we run a large branding and awareness campaign and let the data tell us who they are, meaning what websites are they going to, what TV, like including all streaming television, where are they going, right? What are they watching? What's our audience watching? And then of what they're watching, from what TV state or what platform are they leaving there and going there visiting our website? That's called view through conversions. I mean, I delivered an ad to somebody watching Hulu. They left Hulu, or they later went to your website, and I can tell that, and so I can optimize against that, right? Only curate an audience, curate like an inventory where your audience is and where they're responding, where they're making an action to go to your website or something of that nature. And so then we can look at audience insights and just really see who our audience is, get a better idea. So yeah, but yes, I do use AI all the time. Believe me, I am big. Shannon knows. We are big into AI here. We use it in a lot of different ways. We have an AI planner, media planning tool. We have AI has always been a part of our platform and what we do on the back end from optimization purposes. So yes, yeah, we can absolutely do that for sure, for sure. Yeah, great question.
Awesome. Does anybody have anything else? I don't see anybody's hand. Oh, Beth left, but she's back in. Let's see if she has a question. Beth, you left and then you came back. So I was just checking to see if you had a question. If you came back to ask a question.
No, I hit the wrong button and I just popped off for a second. I just was trying to pop back on. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Welcome
All
back.
right, cool. Well, thank you guys. This has been super interesting and informative. Thank you. So you guys will share these slides with us, right? We can get them out to the attendees and we will upload the recording to our YouTube channel so that folks can check back, and we'll put Shannon's contact info in there so you guys can
Absolutely.
reach out
Yeah,
with more questions.
thank you. I'll fix that for Miss Carol here, and it will be correct, and then we'll send that over to you guys.
I know I can be a real pain, but
Oh, no, I actually went to, no, believe me,
I've edited people
I'm
with
sad. I'm disappointed in myself. I don't miss stuff like that, so my
for
apologies.
years.
Oh, no, I understand. Believe me, I apologize. It won't happen again.
Uh, it's okay. It's just the way my
Send all
mind
your
works.
future slides to Carol for some proofreading in the future. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, and maybe I can get tit for tat. We can do a trade.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you all.
Thank
Oh,
you.
kind of
Bye.
how
Thank you.
Oh, did you have a question?
I see. How should small business
More information.
prioritize when
Yeah.
paid search and email marketing? Forgot to. Yeah, great question, Allison. I think it's all, when you're trying to prioritize between that. I think the priority, where performance marketing is probably your question there. I think, I think I first would like to, again, discuss kind of the funnel and maybe there's a gap, because those three things you said do fit into the funnel. So if we're missing people at the top, then maybe we need to not so much do as much email marketing. If you've only got 40, 50 people in your, email marketing kind of pool there. Maybe we need to focus on filling that more, right? So we can get more there. So but I think so. One, we're going to look at that, but I think at the end of the day, to answer your question, what I always say is like, what's the point of diminishing returns, right? Like if you're not getting your return and your performance marketing isn't like working, right? Which is what those three things are. For me, is performance marketing. You're looking for action. You're looking for a click-through rate. You're looking for website visits or conversions or whatever that is. Once you get to a point of diminishing return, like meaning if you're paying $20 for a keyword versus $4 a year ago, maybe cut back a little bit on search, right? It just depends. But the overall answer is when you get to a point of diminishing returns is when I would like to review that and see what can be done or optimized.
It sounds like you guys have the flexibility to really work with any budget, right? Like we've got obviously a spread even just on this call from he's targeting people with 5 million, selling a $5 million product versus a $50 product. But it sounds like with today's advertising, you really can just customize something for anybody's.
You really can. You can look at it in a couple different ways, but I think a great way to view what we do is everybody hopefully is getting ads that are relevant to you, right? You're getting it, like, oh, you're looking at them, oh man, I need one of those, right? Oh, that's great timing. You click on it, you buy it, whatever. And that's just the part of finding your right audience, right? We're all, doing our best to find our right audience, getting our message as efficiently we can in front of our right audience. And yeah, that's the goal is we're getting ads that are relevant to us, not things that are irrelevant to us. So, because then you see an ad, you're like, oh, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. Like I get cat food ads. I own a dog, never had a cat in my life, right? I don't want cat food ads. Give me dog food ads. I'm receptive to those. So just, yeah, but we can work with anybody, pretty much any budget. Yeah. And do all the cool things we can do here for sure.
Yeah. And as a consumer, I do love the option where it's like, you don't like this ad, not relevant. Then you have that option so it doesn't keep showing up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And again, because it's not relevant, right? Give me something that, that I want to see. And so that's what we're hopefully trying to do. Put something in front of somebody that they want to see because they are the right audience, right message, right time. That's the goal.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys for sharing what is today? Tuesday morning with us. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.